It's another six.
रिचार्ज जल्दी रिचार्ज करा। ये क्या किया?
मैच तो गया।
पेमेंट कैसे करेंगे?
टोकनाइज कार्ड से।
टोकन?
हाँ, ऑनलाइन पेमेंट के लिए आरबीआई लाए हैं टोकनाइजेशन। एक बार कार्ड डिटेल्स, ओटीपी, सीवीवी डालकर टोकन जनरेट कीजिए। कार्ड भी सुरक्षित और बार बार डिटेल्स भरने की नो झंझट। वही सुविधा अधिक सुरक्षित।
ऑलराउंडर।
वो की मैं। आरबीआई कहता है कि
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Our guest today on this special episode of The Journey.
ये जो बेस माननीय प्रधानमंत्री बना रहे हैं, you are born to make a difference.
Your program says it's a journey. It's the startup India.
Do not go abroad.
10 more years.
75 years into India's vibrant democracy. This clearly is a story that needs to be unfolded. Please watch The Journey, Indian parliamentarians in conversation with Shaina NC.
Well, Pakistan continues to be in a mess, political and economic, and history has it. Democracy and the rule of law have always struggled to take hold in Pakistan.
Definitely things are not good in Pakistan, and it is all the political chaos as well.
Question is whether whoever gets a chance will be able to save Pakistan from crumbling further. The answer, I think, is today as we look at Pakistan is a big no.
Pakistan has essentially monetized chaos.
Pakistan is very near a dead end. Like, the last card it has to play is its nuclear card. Strategically, it has lost its value.
A lot of young entrepreneurs are actually giving the example, leading the way. We need to celebrate such examples. And also, we will actually encourage that when youngsters are bothered about environmental issues today, if more entrepreneurs can take up that, I think it's good for their own future and the planet's future. I think they go hand in hand.
The Sustainable Development Goals provide us with a direction of what are the needs. Together, we need to define what it is that we want to realize. So it is not just about poverty alleviation and channeling more funds. It really is about thinking about what type of communities we want to support.
Watch India at G20 at 7:30 p.m. IST today on DD India.
G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करें। वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की थीम वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर में पूर्ण रूप से समाहित है।
Welcome. We are back again with our spotlight on G20. On India at G20, know all about the developments on day 2 of the 3-day second Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting being organized in Udaipur, the city of lakes under India's G20 presidency. The meeting is crucial for helping developing nations get the finance that they need to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. India has identified 3 priorities: a mechanism for timely and adequate resources of money for climate finance, enabling finance for Sustainable Development Goals, and capacity building or training for financing towards sustainable development. We will tell you about the progress made over 2 days in Udaipur. Also on the show, an excursion for Civil 20 delegates, a Think 20 side event on women as active participants and propellers of economic growth, and more. I'm Manun Bhattacharya. First up, the top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the new International Telecommunication Union Area Office and Innovation Centre in India. Says the centre will give momentum to India's efforts to provide universal connectivity in the global south, a key priority under India's G20 presidency. On day 2 of the second Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting in Udaipur, delegates participate in a workshop on enabling finance for attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. A day after concluding deliberations of the Civil 20 inception meeting in Nagpur, foreign participants celebrate Gudi Padwa, a spring festival marking the start of the traditional New Year in India, and delegates also visit the Pench Tiger Reserve as part of a cultural tour. Delegates from G20 member countries, guest countries, international organizations and invitees from the scientific community gear up for G20 Research and Innovation Initiative Gathering Conference on the 23rd and 24th of March at Dibrugarh in Assam. Delegates will deliberate on ways to build a sustainable and circular bioeconomy at the conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the new International Telecommunication Union Area Office and Innovation Centre in India today, where he spoke on how the centre will give momentum to India's efforts to provide universal connectivity in the Global South, a key priority under India's G20 presidency. Listen in.
आज जब भारत G20 की प्रेसिडेंसी कर रहा है, तो उसकी प्राथमिकताओं में रीजनल डिवाइड को कम करना भी है। कुछ सप्ताह पहले ही भारत ने ग्लोबल साउथ समिट का आयोजन किया है। ग्लोबल साउथ की यूनिक जरूरतों को देखते हुए टेक्नोलॉजी, डिजाइन और स्टैंडर्ड्स की भूमिका बहुत अहम है। ग्लोबल साउथ अब टेक्नोलॉजिकल डिवाइड को भी तेजी से ब्रीच करने में जुटा है। आईटीयू का ये एरिया ऑफिस एवं इनोवेशन सेंटर इस दिशा में एक बहुत बड़ा कदम है।
Udaipur is hosting the second Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting where G20 nations are engaging in insightful dialogues on strengthening climate finance and policy levers that are needed to support sustainable investment. To give you more details, on the second day of the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting in Udaipur, a workshop was organized on enabling finance for sustainable development goals, and at the workshop, panel discussions were held on social impact financial instruments and reporting and data on nature-related financial information. This means that the discussions went beyond climate-related issues to shed light on financing select sustainable development goals through nature-related data, reporting and social impact investing. Discussions also centered around improving coordination between G20 nations and enhancing policies and recommendations for financing the 17 sustainable goals, which UN member states had committed to achieve by 2030. Earlier on day 1, a workshop was organized on non-pricing policy tools, their challenges and opportunities. There the focus was on understanding the effectiveness of non-pricing policy levers in enabling low-carbon development. Delegates on the first day also discussed the importance of climate finance and the need for establishing adequate mechanisms which can help in mobilizing funds in a more effective manner. The day 1 was on Tuesday. Social impact startups are the new buzzword at the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting in Udaipur. On the sidelines, discussions were held on challenges and opportunities for green finance and how the current financial architecture can help startups that are working on developing environmentally responsible technologies. DD India correspondent Ajay Mishra caught up with the India director of Acumen, a social impact venture capital fund that is working on environmentally responsible technologies. Take a listen.
We have such a veteran who is a part of Social Impact Fund. It's called Acumen. Mahesh is the country director. Thanks, Mahesh. Startup is the one big focus out here. How, as a fund, can help these kind of solutions for the grand challenges that we are discussing in the G20?
You look at the bigger challenges, it looks very big, but जैसे हिंदी में कहावत है बूंद बूंद से सागर, और there's a famous Rumi quote, every drop in the ocean is an ocean in a drop. I think startups have a big role to play. We have many youngsters taking up enterprises which are socially focused in terms of impact, in terms of positive impact on people. And impact investment has grown because we have been able to invest into some of these enterprises and taking them to scale. So we definitely think this is one of the ways in which we can open up possibilities for taking on the big challenge of SDG. Many of them are focused on indicators like rural, farmers, education, water, energy access, which is no longer that much needed in India, but till now it was very much a focus. And finally, gender equality. People are actually investing into these companies. The thing to think about is today, the whole narrative is about how to minimize the effect of all the bad things industries have done in the past. So we talk about what has steel industry done and how do you correct it today. But I think there is a chance now that if you are actually scaling enterprises which are looking at impact, the future industries have less burden on the planet and also less burden on the social impact. I think that they can go hand in hand. To that extent, I think encouraging the companies at the beginning with the intention to create social impact through investment is a big part of startup support.
So, during the discussions, the people are talking about green finance. They are asking central bank to find avenues to start, at least instruments made for the green finance. Do you also see the similar kind of initiative taken by the fund houses to support these kind of clean tech technologies, startups especially?
Yeah, I think impact investment industry in India has grown a lot. In terms of dollar, it is now $10 billion has been put by impact investors, which is good, but it's still small. And most of the people invest in the early stage. There's a lot of risk because they don't get the return. It takes long time to get the return. I think this should be understood. It will take, because we are creating long-term impact for social. It doesn't happen overnight.
Finally, your message to the young startups who are actually going to create the solve the problem of grand challenges, especially on the climate side. That is the main focus out here.
Yeah, I think a lot of young entrepreneurs are actually giving the example, leading the way. So in fact, they are making some of the older people like us very guilty of what we have done and taken the planet to the place where it is. So I think there is a phenomenal example being set. I think we need to celebrate such examples. And also, we will actually encourage that when youngsters are bothered about environmental issues today, the first way people think about is how do I take this up in terms of a protest action and all. I think there is a positive way to think about it. These are all problems they are going to live with in future. How can you build solutions? How can you be a builder? Seeing the problem, you are going to be part of it so that you are ensuring that in future you and your others don't do what we didn't do. How can you do that? And there is a way, building enterprises, building that will allow you to do that and see the satisfaction of your action. And I think my sense is that the world is coming around to support these enterprises.
Well said, Mahesh. Thanks very much. So I think we are the third largest startup ecosystem, but time is apt for kind of a green startup initiatives, as Mahesh says that it is the future, and future is for all of us to protect and to celebrate the good stories out here. With camera person Ajit Kumar, Ajay Mishra, DD India, Udaipur.
During the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting, a workshop was organized on developing an analytical framework for enabling finance for select sustainable development goals. More than 90 global experts discussed sustainable risk management, green finance, and the need to reform the international financial architecture. DD India correspondent Ajay Mishra caught up with a representative of the Global Alliance for Banking on Values, working on making the banking system more transparent and on supporting positive economic, social and environmental change. Listen in.
Second Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting here in Udaipur. We have with us such an expert. Dr. Meena, thank you very much for speaking to us. First of all, what does this Global Alliance for Banking on Values means to the G20? Because everyone is talking about green finance, everyone is talking about the finance for actually, achieving the SDGs by 2030.
Thank you very much for your invitation to share my views. So the Global Alliance for Banking on Values is a movement of frontrunners in sustainable finance around the world. We are more than 70 members, and we are banks like microfinance institutions and credit unions and commercial banks and investment management entities that are looking to change the way finance is done. And effectively, what we look to see is that finance should work for people and planet.
How important is the microfinance to achieve these kind of goals, because it has also a social impact, so to say?
Yes, that is very true. So microfinance sector, the way we think, we have some of our institutions, the way they think about providing access to finance is how is that access to finance going to improve, promote economic prosperity and social empowerment.
Dr. Arina, again, what's your expectations from the G20, India's presidency, and especially the sustainable finance per se, because we are talking about, huge numbers.
I am very grateful to the India presidency for inviting us and organizing this side workshop, because it signals that there is an interest in practitioners' experiences. Our perspective is that they are listening. So yes, there is a tremendous gap. It is a more fundamental gap in terms of defining what are the objectives that we are trying to accomplish. The Sustainable Development Goals provide us with a direction of what are the needs. Together, we need to define what it is that we want to realize. So it is not just about poverty alleviation and channeling more funds. It really is about thinking about what type of communities we want to support. It's more integrated. These need to be sustainable communities. You need to be sure that you're doing positive impact and not causing harm in any of the other SDGs. So for purposes of this particular exercise, I can see that going forward there's going to be an interest in alignment in focusing what is really positive social impact, has not have harm. It's going to be focusing on disclosure to ensure there's no hiding some of the negative impacts and claiming more positive impacts. There's going to be about incentives as well, but it's also more fundamentally about changing the way we view our responsibility to our clients and how we contribute and help them to deliver on what their own programs and projects are.
Yeah, well said. I think it is not just the money which is important, but how to use it and the out-of-box ideas to actually make the whole planet sustainable is very important. But India is not new to you. You just shared that you have done your doctorship with the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade in New Delhi. How do you like, being back in India?
One of the things that one of the participants asked me yesterday, why are you so happy? And I am very, very happy. It's a really deep happiness. I'm originally from Mexico, and suddenly I come here and I feel very much at home. I love the people in India because they're very kind and they're very intentional and open. And I cannot say very much about the food because then I will be for a long time speaking to you. But it's beautiful. And then this is just wonderful. The diversity in this country is extraordinary. The cultural diversity. I really like the term that the government has opened: one earth, one family, one future. That's sort of the vision. That's the underlying India that I know. This sort of more spiritual, a bit also more integrated, a bit more ambitious India that I really appreciate. So I'm very happy.
Onto the path of sustainable development via sustainable finance is very important for the G20 presidency. With camera person Ajit Kumar, Ajay Mishra, TD India, Udaipur.
As part of the Jan Bhagidari or public participation events around the second G20 Infrastructure Working Group meeting, a two-day regional workshop is being organized starting today in Visakhapatnam by the Department of Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and IFC, which is a member of the World Bank Group that focuses on private sector in developing countries. Eminent experts from Amrut's Smart Cities, SEBI, World Bank and SBI discussed how cities can leverage private financing at a workshop on ways to augment urban financing. Over 70 participants, including municipal commissioners, mayors and representatives from urban state departments of several states and union territories, are participating in the two-day workshop that started today. TD India correspondent Shyama Mishra caught up with the participants of the Civil 20 India 2023 Inception Conference at Nagpur in Maharashtra. Around 250 representatives of civil society from G20 countries and other countries participated in the conference. Let's listen in to some of them.
I am very, very proud to see, especially my Nagpur city, to cover this event. It was so good to attend this event, seeing the world issues that are going on and how we can tackle them. When we are at school or at college level, we see everything, the world at a very narrow level. When I came here, amazing experience and really proud of this.
I got to interact with delegates from all over the countries, almost 26 countries and 60 and more delegates. As a student, it was an enriching experience for me because I got to showcase how my country is, and we got an opportunity to be the face of the country as the volunteers.
G20 is for that, right? To prioritize, to put in the forefront civil society priorities and concerns. That's basically what the Civil 20 is made to do and is continuing to do under the India's G20 presidency.
All of the topics that were discussed, the 14 areas, are highly valuable to create a cohesive society, civil society. We can do it from here. And I think India was the only country to be able to have these type of conversations and social impact. So I'm gladly witnessing to see India succeed for the world.
And after the two-day C20 Inception Conference deliberations, the delegates visited the Pench Tiger Reserve of Nagpur today along with other tourist places. Marathi New Year Gudi Padwa was celebrated at the beginning of the jungle safari, where the delegates also paid respect to the Gudi. Several delegates were able to sight tiger at the reserve and were thrilled. Pench Tiger Reserve is situated in the northern part of eastern Vidarbha and is spread across the areas of Ramtek, Parseoni and Saunur Tehsils of Nagpur district. The Pench National Reserve was established in 1975 and it got the status of a tiger reserve in 1999. It is said that the reserve has around 75 tigers, including 55 adults. All delegates appreciated the warm hospitality that was extended to them.
Tiger Safari was great. It's a very nice atmosphere in this park, and we've seen a tiger, or at least the back of a tiger, and a lot of other animals that are also super worthwhile. The hospitality is great. We are welcomed so warmly and everything is organized great.
Our guests from abroad, they were able to see the tiger. At least I think they sighted three people sighted, one sighted two and another sighted one. But what is most impressive was the way in which this whole thing was organized, the professionalism as well as the sheer sense of hospitality.
It's really been beautiful to be out of the city and in the nature and experience the hospitality as well. I think the hospitality is as good as spotting a tiger. I'm very grateful.
But we had such a great time and the people we were with were fantastic.
The two-day fruitful session of the Civil 20 today ended at Pench Tiger Reserve with all the foreign delegates coming here and enjoying a tiger reserve. Well, definitely, as we mentioned, that the spirit of the tiger is the strongest. We also hope that Civil 20's all consultations and deliberations will definitely go in G20's leaders' declaration. With camera person Vishnu Gotafore, this is Shama Mishra for DD India, Nagpur, Maharashtra.
The Director of Digital Health at the World Health Organization, Alan Labrik, has hailed India's digital health initiative and said that it is an outstanding example for the world. He added that it would be helpful in achieving the goal of universal health coverage. The second Health Working Group meeting will take place in Goa from the 17th to the 19th of April.
WHO believes firmly that digital health is a way to strengthen health systems. And I think having India as the president of the G20 this time around provides an opportunity for India to shine a spotlight on how it has used digital health to strengthen its health system, not just in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, but in making sure that services can reach the last mile and the last citizen. So I think it gives inspiration to countries around the world that doing this kind of innovative work, using digital health to accelerate progress towards sustainable development goals is possible, and India can serve as an exemplar of how that can be done for other countries around the world.
Mr. Alain was speaking at the Global Conference on Digital Health, taking universal health coverage to the last citizen, a co-branded event under India's G20 presidency. It was organized by WHO, Southeast Asia region, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Right, and a lot of developments are to happen vis-a-vis the Culture Working Group as well under India's G20 presidency, because under the grouping, 4 global thematic webinars in March and April 2023 will be organized with the intent to foster an inclusive dialogue and facilitate an in-depth discussion from an expert-driven perspective on the 4 priority areas. The 4 areas include protection and restitution of cultural property, harnessing living heritage for a sustainable future, promotion of cultural and creative industries and creative economy, and leveraging digital technologies for protection and promotion of culture. The webinars will also inform discussions and help shape tangible outcomes across the 4 key priority areas of the Culture Working Group under India's G20 presidency. Dibrugarh is all geared up for the G20 RIIG conference on circular bioeconomy to be held on the 24th of March. As preparations are in full swing, Manohari Tea Estate will be hosting the G20 delegates, which is a heritage tea estate and is more than 80 years old, situated amidst the rich greenery gifted by the surrounding tea estates. Let's take a look at the Manohari Tea Estate.
Dibrugarh district in Assam provides an exotic opportunity to experience life in tea estates. It is famous as the tea city of Assam, as it is the portal to the 3 tea producing districts that include Tinsukia, Dibrugarh and Sibsagar. The G20 Research and Innovation Initiative Gathering Conference will be held amongst these lush tea gardens at the Manohari Tea Estate, where the G20 delegates will be experiencing the rich taste and flavor of Assam tea.
In Assam, we are promoting tea tourism sector. That's why it's located in between the tea garden, and you get surrounding greenery surrounding, right? So you get the green effect here.
Situated in the upper region of Assam, Manohari Tea Estate covers 1800 acres with over 1000 acres planted with tea bushes. The Manohari Tea Retreat has partially colonial styled building structure and vintage interiors that elevate an ethnic feel and the great green life of Assam. The tea estate is famous for the most expensive variety of specialty tea, which is Manohari Gold, which is handmade and is the time-taking process and has numerous health benefits. Manohari has achieved a splendid record by making sales of Rs 99,999 per kg for Manohari Gold Special at the 2022 tea auction.
मनोहरी गोल्ड बनाने का एक उनका प्रोसीजर था, उस प्रोसीजर के अंतर्गत ये बनता है। ये अर्ली मॉर्निंग जैसे सनराइज से पहले प्लकिंग होती है, इसकी बड्स की प्लकिंग होती है, सिलेक्शंस होती है, उसके बाद उसकी प्रोसेस होती है। ये उनकी एक सोच थी और उस सोच से मनोहरी गोल्ड बना, जो स्पेशल मतलब उनकी उसका जो कैरेक्टर है, जो चाय की कैरेक्टर है, वो दूसरों में नहीं मिलेगा। मनोहरी गोल्ड एक अपने आप में ही गोल्ड जैसा गोल्ड है, वैसा ही नाम है, वैसा ही गोल्ड है वो।
The G20 Research and Innovation Initiative Gathering Conference in Dibrugarh will play a pivotal role in shaping the future and value of tea industry in the region, along with giving a boost to tea tourism in the upper region of Assam. We are here at Manohari Tea Estate. As you can see, Manohari is all being geared up for the G20 RIG conference on circular bioeconomy. With camera person Pranab Chetia, Subina Roy, TT India.
A befitting venue to host deliberations on sustainable and circular bioeconomy. That's it then in this edition of India at G20. Thanks for watching.
Do you think the younger generation is even interested in the Upanishads?
Yes.
Do you think the younger generation is interested in cultural activities that ICCR offers?
I must tell you that younger generation, younger talents, and the way they are manifesting Indian culture, I think is really very brilliant.
Culture is also about a vibrant democracy.
Of course, the culinary and cuisines, our democracy, our philosophy, our language, Sanskrit, Ayurveda, everything is a part of our culture, and ICCR is working on all these fronts.
Do you think the younger generation is even interested in the Upanishads?
Yes.
Do you think the younger generation is interested in cultural activities that ICCR offers?
I must tell you that younger generation, younger talents, and the way they are manifesting Indian culture, I think is really very brilliant.
Culture is also about a vibrant democracy.
Of course, the culinary and cuisines, our democracy, our philosophy, our language, Sanskrit, Ayurveda, everything is a part of our culture, and ICCR is working on all these fronts.
Namaskar and thank you very much for joining us here on this special program. The Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, has permitted banks from 18 countries to open special Vostro rupee accounts to settle payments in rupees. The Minister of State for Finance, Bhagwat Krishan Rao Karad, had told this to Parliament that in fact 60 such approvals have been given by the RBI. Now, analysts say that the need was felt after the sanction regime was affecting trade across the world. Also, the monetary tightening of the United States, the US Fed, was leading to dollar value appreciating, making trade harder for many countries of the global south. Last year, in fact, the RBI and the Finance Ministry had asked banks to push export and import transactions in Indian rupees. And to what extent is this going to ease balance of payments and change balance of trade? And how will it affect international trade in general? We have two guests. Let me introduce you to them. Mr. Prasanjit K. Basu is Chief Economist at ICICI Securities. He's with us in the studio. And Dr. Pralok Gupta is Associate Professor, Center for WTO Studies, the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. Mr. Basu, let me start with you. Does trading in the Indian rupee help in strengthening the rupee as a